Been a really busy transfer window already, and there's so much more that could happen. Now, we've picked out four big-name players who could still be on the move this summer, all with different situations, by the way. We'll start at the far side with Jack Grealish. We know that Napoli are interested in him. What's the best scenario for him this summer now, Jay?
Obviously, he needs to go somewhere and play games. I think Jack Grealish is still like a fantastic talent. Obviously, he didn't play much last year, but the season before that, he was very good, and Guardiola relied on him, especially in the Champions League for them defensive duties that he did. But last season was a terrible season for him. I think his next move, he needs to go in there and play week in, week out. I'm not sure if that would be Napoli. I would like to see him at somewhere like Aston Villa again, or Newcastle, or somewhere like that. Even someone like Everton. But there's no doubt about it. He needs to go and play now.
And England, Mark.
Well, that's World Cup is important next year.
Yeah. That's it. Every single player, there's a number of players that will be thinking about next summer, and they need to position themselves throughout the course of this transfer window in a club where they feel like they're going to get game time and give themselves the best platform to play. And that's what's crucial for Jack Grealish. He needs to be somewhere, where he's happy and he's enjoying his football. He's 29 years old. He's getting to that stage now where his resale value is going to start to fall, and he's on big wages, which is another big issue. You may see Jack Grealish move towards deadline day, the back end of this month, because a lot of teams will be interested, but the financial package that Manchester City want right now will change as you get closer to deadline day, and they'll be thinking, we want to shift the wages off the wage bill. He's not going to get game time here, so therefore we're going to have to accept the next best offer. And ultimately, it will be about where Jack feels comfortable. Could see him going abroad as well. A number of teams in Europe would be interested in him. If Manchester City can do a bit of the heavy lifting with his wages, you could see a deal facilitate there. But he'll want to play Champions League, and he'll want to be at a club where he can give himself the best opportunity to be in Thomas Tuchel's squad.
And just one more thing there as well. It's not easy adapting in a foreign country as well, especially someone like Italy. He'll have to learn a new language. That's going to be difficult for him. I feel like his best landing spot would be in the Premier League. Especially with the World Cup around the corner, he needs to play week in, week out. And I feel like if he's going to go to someone like Italy, it will be difficult for him to bed himself in, learn a language and perform at the same time.
One thing about experience. Yeah, you did it.
Exactly.
Napoli's interesting as well. We had Ashley Young on a transfer show a couple of weeks ago, and he said the reason he's still playing now in his 40s is because of Antonio Conte and the way he drilled the players like he'd never been drilled before in terms of his fitness levels and the intensity of the training sessions. So whilst it might look on the surface like being great, it might be quite a powerful, difficult move for him to make, and that adjustment might be quite substantial in the early stages.
Yeah, and Raheem Sterling also... Napoli also interested in him. We talked about him a little bit earlier on, didn't we? So we'll go to Olly Watkins now. Main man at Aston Villa. He's not on there because he's not wanted by his club. He's on there because his club do want him, but other clubs do as well. What do you see happening with Olly Watkins?
I think that he should stay at Aston Villa. Again, he's their talisman. He's done fantastically well there. He's earned himself in a place in the England squad regularly. I feel like to go to Man United now, it wouldn't benefit him. Financially, it probably would. But I feel like staying at Aston Villa now is the best move for him.
And that brings on to Jadon Sancho, another one who, at Manchester United, they tried so hard to sign him, Mark, but ultimately at this stage hasn't worked out. There is still time, of course. Stranger things have happened. What's best for him? Because Dortmund, he's loved.
Yeah, absolutely loved. Could it be a third time as well? He obviously came from Dortmund to Manchester United, where he'd had his best days, hence why United paid over £70 million for him, went back on loan in 2024, got them to the Champions League final. And again, there's this flirtatious interest once again from a club that he's had so much happiness with. You could see why there is interest, but again, he's got a year left on his United deal with a club year option. It's unlikely they're going to trigger that, so they'd like to try and do a permanent sale this summer if they possibly can. But wage is a big problem, and that's where Manchester United will have to say, right, we'll make a quite hefty contribution to facilitate a potential deal. Jadon Sancho, like Marcus Rashford, may have to take a little bit of a pay cut to make it happen. So one to keep an eye on, that's for sure.
Again, this is a situation where we're talking about Sancho that's earning huge money. Like you said, he's got a year left on his deal with a club option. The club definitely won't take that up. Is he willing to just sit there and play bit parts for Man United? Because if the deal is not right to go somewhere else financially, it's a situation where it's difficult to leave that now. I mean, I've spoken to agents before and they always say, never leave money on the table because you never know what's going to happen. He might get an injury next year that puts him out for, a season. Then he's at a club that's paying him a fraction of his wages, and it's difficult. So people will say, he should move, he needs to go and play football. But ultimately, if it doesn't make financial sense, sometimes it's better to stay at the club.
Yeah, right. Let's see what happens with them. Jay, thank you very much this morning.